What's going on, guys? Kivox here, and we're talking about Meekachee's 2020 wand that I just finished making. One of the coolest wands I've ever made, I think, and I hope you guys like it too. But before we get to the new wand, I want to show you guys some of the older ones, her older wands. These are mine. I'll just go over them really quick. Oh, that's not the first one. Sorry. This is the very first one, which was the beginning of it all. This is the first wand I ever made. This was my Pottermore wand, made of sycamore and stained with a walnut finish. It's all dusty because it was on the shelf and stuff. Yeah, this is how it all started. This is the one that I made, and everybody was like, "Wow, that thing's really cool. You should make more wands." And I was like, challenge accepted. Shortly after I made that guy, I decided to then make this one, which was kind of like that, inspired by that guy, but reimagined a bit. And it's pretty nice. It's all right. I like it. It's not bad. Yeah, whatever. After that, I started getting crazy, and I was like, I'm gonna make some crazy wands. Here we go. And I made this guy. This is a weird one, man. I call it the Traveler's Wand. Just because it's the idea behind it is that it was like broken wands kind of put together into like a single. So there's three different wands here made into this one, and these ties are kind of like holding it all together, keeping it stable or whatever. So it's made out of purple heart, Paduke, and I think this was maple or birch. But yeah, this was a weird one. Look how fat it is. It's like, if anybody submits a wand like this right now, I'd be like, ugh, that's too fat. And I start fat shaming the wand, and that's what I'm doing to this one because it's a little too chunky. It has a little duck tail, woohoo, and I like it. I really like it. I like the wand. If I were to ever remake this, I would just make it a little bit thinner. So this was my next wand, and then so this was basically like my 2017 wand, and then this guy was the next one. I love this wand. I know it's so simple and like kind of silly and dumb looking, but this wand was up on the shop for like a week, and as soon as I put it up, I was like, man, I really like that one. I like the color. I like the finish on it because it's like it just was fun. I made it mostly on the lathe, took it off, finished it off the lathe, finished it off the lathe. Yeah, that makes sense. And I really like it. I love this guy. But then last year, so this was 2018, and then last year I went all out. I was like, my skills have improved. I feel like I can make my dream wand now, which is part of the problem because like I can't figure out how to top this wand that I'm about to show you. That's my favorite wand I've ever made, and I don't know what to do. The techniques on it aren't anything crazy either. It's just it took me about like 2 months to work it all out from beginning to end. And yeah. So if you were with us last year, you would have seen this wand. If you're just with us at all, this guy sits on that display right there, right in the middle. Basically where the Elder Wand would go. It's inspired a bit by the Elder Wand, and also obviously young Dumbledore's new wand. That's where these two pieces are actually from, but reimagined into this wand to make it work. It's a very long wand. Let's see. I think it's one of the longest wands I've ever made. 15 and a half, pretty much. A little over 15 and a half. Definitely longer than most wands should be, but I love this thing. Made out of Paduke. I think it was like one of the first Friday live streams that we did. I feel like I told this story last year, but let's just tell it again. It's 2020. This guy, Meekachii was like, "Oh, I want an Elsa-inspired wand," and I was like, "Okay, I can work some blues and some weird like fractal stuff into it." I tried my best. I made this. I still think it's a pretty cool wand. I believe it's actually made out of pine, and I just painted it, and there's some metallic blues in here and some dark blues and some light blues and a little bit of white just to kind of give it that like icy Ice Queen theme. She thinks it looks like the bride's corpse bride, which I can see because her skin was like that pale blue, but it wasn't metallic, Meek. It wasn't metallic. This was her 2017 wand. Yeah, 2017. And then a couple months later, because it was like the end of 2017 that I made it for her. Basically, I came down with like 5 new wands that I had just made that I was gonna put up on the shop, and I'm super excited about. And this is what happens. Every time I make wands, I'll like make a few, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done for the day. So if they're done, I bring them down to Meekachii, and I'm like, all right, Meek, I got some new wands. And I put them behind my back, and then I like make her close her eyes, and I'm like, okay, open it, and then I show her one at a time. So I'd be like, okay, here it is, and then one of these, the next one that I made for her, or I didn't make it for her, I just made it. She was just like, oh man, I want that one. And I was just like, all right, it's yours. She gets first dibs. So if you guys know, patrons get first dibs on the wands, but technically Meekachii gets like first dibs on the wands. So I'm sorry. Yell at her about it, okay? Not me. If she likes a wand, usually she's like, no, I like it, but it's not for me. But for some reason, she really liked this one. It's a very simple design. It has this nice little flat blade thing here. It's a longer one. It definitely was a completely different style from her last one. But it has no burning and nothing added to it. It just has a nice little matte finish on it, which makes wands look beautiful. I also like semi-gloss. Semi-gloss is a really nice finish as well. That's what my wand is, where it has a little bit of a shine, but it's not like a mirror coat. Yeah. So that's this one. And then I was like, okay, 2019, it's here. I got to make my wand and I got to make your wand. This one I made thinking that she would probably like it. And if she did, it was going to be her wand. So I kind of themed it around her. That's why I did the blue again. But I did the blue a little bit darker on this one. So if you guys remember last year, this was her wand for last year. I definitely think it's cool. I would say maybe it's a little bit too thick from here to here, but it's not bad. I think that the reason I did this is because at this point it's the same thickness as this guy right here, and I think that this one looks really cool. It kind of looks like a sword. If you were to hold it here, it's kind of like a like a sword, like a really thick sword, but a sword nonetheless. There's some brass tubes going through there, and yeah, it's different. It's a layered design, like one of the more recent ones that I made. That is also a layered design as well. Same style, except this one I combined it more than this one because I didn't actually. This one I wanted to see the layers, but on that one I didn't want to see the layers. This one I wanted to show off like the multi-layered parts like that. So this new one was one of the hardest ones that I've made. I definitely couldn't have made it last year because I didn't know the process properly for doing it. I've experimented with acrylic a little bit more. It is it's maple painted and mostly acrylic. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So the theme behind it was, again, the Ice Queen Elsa. It was Meekachii's like favorite Disney movie. So she's like, oh, make me an Elsa wand. And I was like, Elsa doesn't need a wand, first of all. She's super powerful without one. A wand would only slow her down. But I get it. I know what you want. Let's figure something out. So originally I was going to make it all acrylic, just kind of like a piece of ice, which maybe I'll do that one next year. I don't know yet. But as of right now, I wanted to incorporate a little bit of blue in there. So we got this guy. It's almost, the idea behind it was a wand, but it has like a permafrost cascade around it. And that's what we got. If you look there, you could see that there's a piece of wood this is actually the wood here. and then this is the acrylic. So it actually comes all the way up to here, and then from here all the way to the end, we have the acrylic covering the wood. So obviously what I did originally was I made this, the wooden part of it, and I made it super duper thin. I did all of these facets on it just to kind of make it match the outside. And then I put it in the vessel to hold it. So let's say this is the tube that it was in. What I did is I tried to keep it in the center as much as possible, because if I had the wood touching the edge, when I demolded it and I just had the acrylic, then that piece of wood, one, was going to be very crooked, and it was most likely going to pop out. I didn't want any of it popping out of the ice. So that was the hardest part. And also another thing that made it harder is because it wasn't just like a straight piece that was in there just to keep it in the middle. It was all like, it was kind of a little wavy. I don't know if you can tell that it's a little wavy in there. It's not like perfectly straight. That doesn't help, right? That made it a little bit harder, but I think the final product came out really good. I made the whole blade a little bit thicker just because, one, I didn't want to risk hitting that wood, but also I wanted it to be stronger because the piece of wood is so thin in there, it isn't super strong. It is very thin. It's for the most of this from here all the way to the end is thinner than this pretty much in some spots. But for the most part, it's about this. So basically from here all the way to the end is super thin. And then with a thin layer of acrylic around it, it's still going to be really weak. And then the acrylic has a tendency of sometimes, if it gets really, really hot, to soften up a bit. So I didn't want it to be too weak. So I kept it a little bit on the thicker side. And what I like about this is that what's weird, right? You can see here the difference in thickness of the blade. But I think because it's like covered in that ice or whatever, it just makes it work. Also, I wouldn't hold this wand here. I wouldn't hold it here. I would totally hold it like here. It's weird because it feels right in the middle. It's weird because like mine, I would say my wand is more of like a pencil wand. This is how I would hold mine, is like, because you have all this weight here at the end, but this guy, it's pretty like balanced, like almost right in the middle, because there's so much material in the whole thing. So it definitely feels better to hold it basically right where that balance point is. I feel like that's part of the secret of kind of where you hold the wand, is kind of where like the balance point is for it. So this guy is like pretty much right there. So you'd hold it like that, or you'd hold it like that. Next time you guys pick up a wand, try that. See like where it feels comfortable to hold. Maybe if you're used to holding the wand more like a pommel heavy. That's why pommel heavies I usually hold like this, because that's kind of the balancing point, is where you're going to be like holding it, right? This is it, guys. This is the 2020 Meekachii official wand, and I am super excited. As soon as she saw it, she was like, I really like it. She's like, oh, I really like it. I'm super happy that she liked it, because I worked super hard on it. And I'm sure that you guys may be wanting it too. So I'm sorry that she stole it from y'all. So guys, if you guys have any idea for my wand, that's what I want you guys to leave in the comment section below. This is my wand right now, so it has to be a better idea than this. I love this wand so much. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave that comment down below. If you guys want to join the Patreon to help support the channel, there's a link at the end of the video and also in the description. See you guys in the next video. Bye.